Why would banks decide to use Ripple instead of producing their own stablecoin? I wanted to find the answer to this question. Guys, this movie contains all of the information and more. It will be really crowded. Stay with me through it all. I need to give you some background and context before I begin, but you'll want to hear the information here. There will be a lot of content in this video. Please hit like with your assistance if you find this video useful. This video could receive 10,000 likes. I would be so grateful if you could help me out and participate in that. Now let's discuss the details. Come on, this is where we should begin. Ripple, stablecoin, transparent, trustworthy. Ripple, USD, simple fiat stablecoin, on and off ramps, and real-time payments. I will not continue reading this. You know what's happening here, I'm sure. Information regarding stablecoin legislation is being released by the White House. Two bills are on the horizon, one in the House and one in the Senate. There are two separate legislation here. The Genius Act is on the Senate side and the Stable Act is on the House side. Therefore, they must all work together to choose which bill will forward. If they move both bills forward, stablecoin regulation will be further delayed because it will take a lot of time to debate and review each law. With President Trump's working group on digital assets, Senator Hagerty's stablecoin bill, the Genius Act, is slated to receive crucial Senate floor time next month. March was the month, thus April is the month after this one. After learning that the measure has created a regulatory framework for payment stablecoins, Senate leaders have decided to introduce it for discussion in America. By a vote of 18-6, cryptocurrencies based on the US dollar were approved by the Senate Banking Committee on March 13th, thus a smaller committee produced this. They gave their approval. It reaches the Senate's wider readership. On this, 100 senators will cast their votes. John Thune, the majority leader, is now scheduled to introduce the bill for consideration on the Senate floor. Nonetheless, the bill has the potential to become law. Additionally, it must pass the House of Representatives, where members will have to reconcile any discrepancies between the Stable Act, the House version, and the Genius Act. Tomorrow, April 2, is the day that the House Financial Services Committee is set to mark up the Stable Act, which is sponsored by Representatives French Hill and Brian Steele. The White House does, however, hope that the Senate version of the measure is approved. Okay, so there's a lot going on, there's more information here. I'll simply refresh this. Apologies. In fact, OBS failed to capture the screen when I filmed this video. I felt somewhat depressed about that. I must replay this just to make sure you all understand. This video will most likely be released after my surgery, and there will likely be a 40-day window during which I won't be able to accomplish anything. Be in bed. I am therefore creating stuff for that window, and this is something you will witness. I hope all is okay with you. I miss all of you. I'll be back for you as soon as I can. All right. This is Chad Steengraber's contribution. Go follow him, please. Declares we will exchange that stablecoin for the US dollar that is sitting in a reserve transparent bank account 1-to-1. Additionally, he claims that it kept 1-to-1 reserves and made their composition publicly available. Therefore, Ripple's reserves are examined each month as they go via the New York Department of Financial Services. The challenging aspect of this is that Ripple, RLUSD, is audited monthly, whereas USDT has never had such an audit. This will be advantageous for banks as they will be interested in collaborating with Ripple. I'll soon demonstrate why that is the case. Wait a minute, Scott Bessent is shown here. The United States Treasurer is this person. He will explain the significance of stablecoins in this 7-second clip. You must pay attention for this reason. Stablecoinage will help us maintain the United States as the world's leading reserve currency. That being said, if you have watched any of my earlier videos, you are aware that China is currently, or was, the largest buyer of U.S. debt in the bond market. As a result, they are currently becoming the best seller. The bonds being dumped on the market must be purchased by someone or something on the opposing side. There might be a complete collapse of the bond market, which would be a national security concern, if they don't have this alternative where people are actually purchasing the ones that are being marketed. Okay? Therefore, this is incredibly significant, and I'm happy that people recognize its significance. Let's face it, this is a crucial component that maintains America's dominance. I'm from America. Half of the viewers of this channel are Americans. Many of us care about this, correct? In this 1-minute movie, Brad Garlinghouse discusses stablecoins and the RLUSD. After that, we'll move on to the juicy details. With the United States moving closer to clarity, what are the prospects for the next generation of stablecoins? Once more, I believe we're underestimating how large that may become. That market is worth almost $230 billion today, you know? Some intelligent individuals believe that could increase over the next 5 years. That's probably correct in my opinion. I believe that the two top companies, Tether and USDC, are all well positioned to succeed in that market. At the conclusion of the previous year, Ripple introduced our own stablecoin. Given where we are at this stage of the year, that already surpasses our internal projection. Although we are still small, the objective is for the Ripple stablecoin, RLUSD, to rank among the top 5 in the market by the end of the year, and I believe that this year will see a significant expansion of the market as a whole. To get there, how long does it take you? With whom are you forming a partnership? Are you establishing some financial alliances to increase RLUSD's recognition? Yes. Without a doubt. Even today, new RLUSD listings went up on a few international cryptocurrency exchanges. He just made a pretty intriguing point that I believe many people are missing, so whenever you do it quickly, keep that in mind. There are numerous American exchanges as well as numerous European exchanges. Here, USDT is the problem. It is currently prohibited in Europe due to the MECA legislation, and it will soon be prohibited in the US due to non-compliance with federal, state, and regulatory authorities. Therefore, in order to remain in business and avoid being sued by the US government, those exchanges must withdraw USDT. Therefore, a new stablecoin that is coupled with each of these other assets is required. And you know what that accomplishes for us? That provides the liquidity we sorely require. We require liquidity in both RLUSD and XRP if we plan to move trillions of dollars per day. Try something different. That sort of, if you will, ripple effect of watching how that unfolds takes a minute. Thus, we are witnessing that event in real time. Thus, I'm rather happy. As I mentioned earlier, we are ahead of where we anticipated to be in Q1. Thus, we are rather pleased with that product. Isn't that better than their first quarter prediction? According to Brad Garlinghouse, RLUSD wants to rank in the top 5 by the end of this year. Then what are America's most tightly regulated stablecoins? This reads PayPal USD, Pax Dollar, and USD Currency. Are all of these stablecoins approved by NYDFS? I asked. Because that matters. PayPal USD, Binance USD, Paxo Standard, and Pax Dollar. Binance USD will not be used by them. Let's be truthful. Binance has already reviewed all of that information. CZ was taken into custody. The banks will not be interested in incorporating that into their payment processes. I will tell you this, someone has been arrested for any type of criminal offense. I take it that they won't use that? I then requested for the most highly regulated stablecoins, and I told it that you would only be permitted to use stablecoins that were authorized and regulated by the New York Department of Financial Services. To reiterate, which stablecoins in America are subject to the strictest regulations? It reads PayPal Dollar, GMO Dollar, Pax Dollar, and Gemini Dollar. So what about RLUSD, I asked. It isn't eligible. In fact, it does, it claims. As a result, AI can occasionally be hit or miss. It is dependent upon the sources of information it has and draws from. Make sure you're asking the correct inquiry if you're seeking for this information. I am positive that the New York Department of Financial Services regulates Ripple, RLUSD, so I have some follow-up questions in case your query doesn't answer all of your questions. I was able to fix that then. And right there it is. All right. Additionally, I wanted to learn more about the kinds of money that banks hold. They have vault cash here. Coins and notes kept in bank vaults fall under this category. It is utilized for daily transactions and withdrawals and is a component of the bank's reserve. Additionally, central